long-term operated nature-based solutions for stormwater treatment in different climate zones. And this is a collaborative research. I will get back to the different partners in a short while. So we created this consortium for the joint call BioDiv NBS, which was under the Biodiversa Plus call. This is a European call co-funded by the European Union, and it required at least 3 partners from 3 different countries to join and to write a proposal for 3-year research projects. With the aim to explore tipping points, trade-offs, and mechanisms influencing nature-based solutions and their effective implementation. And there were 3 key themes, which could be partly or totally covered. And we sort of ticked the boxes for all of them with our project proposal. 183 consortium were created and submitted something for the pre-proposal phase. 108 were invited to submit full proposals, and of these, finally 34 research projects were funded, of which we are one. This is a total commitment of over 40 million euro for all the projects. The funding comes from the countries that committed to this program, and there's co-funding from the European Commission. And our BioReStorm project has 5 partners in 4 countries and almost 1 million in total funding. So we started in April last year as one of these 34 funded projects, which have a very big variety of subjects, of topics. If you like to know a bit more, I put you here this QR code so you can look on the website and look at the descriptions of the different projects, which are now some of them reaching almost a year in project phase, and we were one of the last ones to start. So what is BioReStorm about? And I put here a picture of one of these roadside infrastructures that we see more and more that should handle stormwater. And they are increasingly being used for stormwater treatment and management, but we actually know little about their long-term functioning, especially with the change in the plants and the microorganism development with the pollutant accumulation over time. And also one key issue is the public perception, people who live next to these systems, which can sort of create user conflicts over time or misunderstanding of the functioning of these infrastructures. So this is what we wanted to investigate in the project BioReStorm, so identify shortcomings in design, implementation, and maintenance of such nature-based solutions, combined with biological succession under the environmental pressures within these systems, and develop adequate rehabilitation concepts for this long-term functioning, and they should include also positive public perception of these systems. So we have in total 4 work packages, which we now present in the following, and 5 partners from 4 countries. So there's University of Lyon with 2 groups. Then we have University of Montreal as partner, Luleå University of Technology in Sweden, and our partner from University of Tartu in Estonia. So we are covering also different climate zones in this project. We have currently 3 PhD students in this project that will also present their future work, and also 2 master students, which are distributed all over the different partner institutions. We will present you the different work packages, then there will be time for exchange and feedback, and we give a short outlook in the end. And if you have questions, please post them right away in the chat or keep them for the feedback session. And with that, we can already jump to work package number 1, which I will also be presenting, since unfortunately my colleague Anne-Christelle Bitbier, who is representing Lena BRH, she is sick and can't present today. So I will just stop this presentation and jump to the next one. And I cannot unshare this one, okay. So can you see now the work package 1 presentation? Yes, okay. Sorry,
Yes.
I was trying to do this in a more elegant way, but yeah.
Yeah, just a comment to the listeners that you can always post your questions to the chat, and we will go to them later on.
Yes, thanks, Margit, for that. So work package 1 will be focusing on the biological compartment of stormwater nature-based solution, and this work package is led by my colleague here at University of Lyon, Anne-Christelle Bitbier. So the context, the background to that is that vegetation is generally important for stormwater nature-based solutions in terms of hydraulics, aesthetics, also partially for the water treatment, and very important in the biodiversity context, also to support biodiversity in urban context. There can be very, very different vegetations. You see here on the photo one kind, but there's a lot of varieties. There are also planting plants, but we don't actually know on the long term how they function and how they interact in this environment, which can be quite harsh. You can imagine that there are long drought periods, especially in summer months, and then there are these sort of flash floods when rain events come, especially a bit stronger rain events, which also then bring pollutants with them, but more or less nutrients depending on where these systems are located. So what we would like to look at in this work package also is, are there interactions happening, and to what extent, with the microorganisms that are building up in the soil, and how could that enhance the tolerance of these plants to better grow and survive in these systems, and specifically the plants that we like to have there, so that are positive, for example, for the hydraulics, ideally also for aesthetics and biodiversity, which would then lead, of course, to an enhanced efficiency of these systems overall. So far, we know very little about this, the interaction with the micropollutants, especially of the plant roots, under the context of the pollutant accumulation. And we know close to nothing about also the fungal communities that are building up there. The question is also, are these associations, the interactions between plant and microorganisms, could have an impact on the pollutant transformation? Questions like, are they more or less mobile within the systems? Because, of course, we would like to keep them in these systems and not have them flushed out either into the surface waters or infiltrated into the ground. So the objective of work package 1 is to assess the role of plants and their associations with microorganisms in the efficiency of stormwater NBS. And for that, we have 3 tasks. First one, we will investigate the variations in communities of fungal endophytes and bacteria in the presence and absence of pollutants, and how that impacts plant growth. Then, if we can identify successional trajectories of plant communities within the stormwater NBS, and then also develop recommendation on plant species selection to optimize these systems and their efficiency based on the functional traits of these plants. And in these work packages, we have two postgrad students, Manon Sabaté, who is doing a PhD thesis in Lyon, and Caroline Jean-Paul at University of Montreal, who's working currently on her master thesis. And with that, I would invite Manon to present her PhD thesis project.
It's okay, use my
Oh,
okay.
good.
Thank you. So hello everyone. My name is Manon Sabaté. I am going to give you a brief presentation of the main theme of my PhD. I'm a part of the LENA laboratory in Lyon at the NTPE, and I'm supervised by Katharina Tondera and Christelle Bittebière at LENA, and also Godek Blicken at Luleå University of Technology and Maria Opik at the University of Tartu in Estonia. So first, I will introduce you the role of plants in contaminant remediation. As you can see in the diagram, there are several processes that occur and can be carried out in different ways, depending on the type of contaminant. Contaminant can be stabilized at the plant roots, a process known as phytostabilization. They can also be accumulated in cells, particularly in the aerial part of the plant, which is phytoextraction. Plant also have the ability to biodegrade certain organic contaminants. Also at the root area, plants emit substances called root exudates. Their compositions vary greatly. Some are, for example, amino acid or other type of sugar, and they can be sources of nutrient for microorganisms. So this is why around the roots there is an area called the rhizosphere, which is an area of soil that is influenced by root exudates. In this area, there is a greater abundance of microorganisms compared to the soil. Majority of these microorganisms have the ability to biodegrade organic contaminants. They can also immobilize them through the formation of biofilm. Certain microorganisms are associated with plants and can produce protein, phytohormone, or enzymes that can enable the plants to grow better. This is known as PGP activity or plant growth promotion activity. For example, they can limit the negative effect of contaminant on the plants. Also, there are some fungi, mycorrhizal fungi, which interact symbiotically with plants. And this interaction is beneficial for both of the organisms. The plants provide carbon source to the fungi, and the fungi help to expand the water nutrition zone thanks to the presence of mycelial alpha, as you can see here on the graph. So some studies have shown the presence of plants improve water decontamination. However, few studies have focused on the relationship between plants and fungi, asking whether the presence of fungi enables plants to better withstand the effect of contaminants and irregular water regime. This is why my first thesis topic focused on the investigation of rhizosphere soil and root-associated microbial communities of plants in presence of metal. The second topic is on evaluation of plant species and arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, AMF, which are the fungi in symbiosis interaction with plants, on the potential to access contaminant removal under wet and dry conditions. And The last part is to describe more precisely what happened between plants and microorganisms with the analysis of transcriptomic response of plant and AMF symbiosis under metal and draw stress. So for the first topic, I am questioning myself about investigating results facial and root associated microbial communities of two plants depending on the presence of metal in a microcosm experiment, mimicking a nature-based solution for stormwater treatment. So I have three questions. The first one is what is influencing microbial diversity the most? Is it the presence of metal, the plant species, or the reduction of microorganisms abundance? The second question is which plants microorganism combination allow for better removal of metal in the effluent? And does the presence of microorganisms in the substrate have an influence on the growth of the plant in presence of metal? For my second part of the PhD, I am looking after the selection of plant species with contrasting root morphology and arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi AMF, potential to access contaminant removal under wet and dry conditions. Is it metal removal from effluent more efficient in plant monoculture or polyculture? Which plant species used in nature-based solution are more resistant to dry conditions and achieve higher metal removal efficiency from effluents? Do fungal community in root and rhesus versal differ between dry and normal hydraulic conditions? And does the inoculation of AMF enhance plant growth and metal removal efficiency under dry conditions? And for the last part, I'm looking after more precisely into the interaction between the plant and AMF. So with the transcriptomic analysis, and my question, what are the differentially expressed genes in plant exposed to metal under dry and normal hydraulic conditions? How does AMF colonization influence plant gene expression under metal exposure? And which microbial genes are differentially expressed in root associated communities under dry conditions and metal stress? Thank you for your attention. This is my presentation of the PhD. So now I'm letting Caroline talk about the master project.
Yes, thank you, Manon. And Caroline, if you could please share your master project. Caroline is doing a one-year master project currently at our partner, Université de Montréal. And if you have any questions, just please write them in the chat so we can discuss them later on.
Thank you. My name is Caroline Jean-Paul, and I am a master's student in Environment and Sustainable Development at the University of Montreal. I work with Daniel and Beatrice on the Canada team. My master project focuses on the ecological succession of plant communities in stormwater management infrastructure. The infrastructures are located on Papineau Avenue in northern Montreal, implemented by the City of Montreal between 2016 and 2017. Hydrological aspects, plant performance, and maintenance were monitored between 2018 and 2021. This year, we collected data that will be part of our project. In short, we have two types of basins, 15 well-drained and 23 ones that hold water. 4 substrates were used randomly in the basins, which were planted with 9 different species of herbaceous plants, alone or in combination. Trees were also planted. Data collection was carried out on 437 quadrats, 291 permanent quadrats were set up in 2020, evenly distributed to the east and west slopes. The center consisted mainly of pebbles. However, In 2025, following slope erosion and sedimentation, species also colonized the bottom of the basins. So we collected data with a third quadrat. A 1.2 meter transect line was also created to estimate species based on slope. The main data collected are identification and coverage of species in the infrastructures, measurements of pH, electrical conductivity, and soil moisture, species found in the immediate environment of the basins, and an estimate of the shade created by the planted trees. The data collected has not yet been processed, but here we can see that there is a difference both in the number of species in the quadrats and the species categories of the basins in 2025 compared to 2021. For example, in the western quadrat, only 4 species are the same in both years. Among the expected results of this work, we can mention what is the succession over time in the composition of plant communities. For dominant species, what are the main functional traits and what factors influence the succession? And other students will follow up to explore certain questions in greater depth. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. And with that, I would like to lead over to Godeke, who's presenting work package 2.
One moment. I can escape.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon. Do you see this presentation now?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Hello, my name is Godeke Bleken. I'm professor of water engineering at Lille University of Technology. And I want to show you a brief introduction of work package 2. And now it disappears here. The general thing is the controls here are over the screen. This is a bit difficult. Oh, anyhow. Okay. This work package is on function of aging systems and rehabilitation measures. So it focuses a bit on the long-term performance of systems, which is very important, I think, or not only I, but we think, because yeah, we implement a lot, but it's also important that we utilize these systems or the potential of these systems over time. And these systems, the stormwater nature-based solutions, they change over time. And examples are here on the slide. You can have reduced infiltration rate, for example, hydraulic failures, and so on. This and also other factors may affect pollutant removal, which can decline over time. You have sediment or pollution buildup, accumulation in these systems, and also the plant or microbial communities change in these systems. And so this work package provides tools for understanding and maintaining this long-term performance. And we've done other projects earlier looking on, for example, this infiltration rate things and the pollutant removal and pollutant accumulation, but connecting this with this plant and microbial community changes that is new or novel, I would say. We have 3 tasks in this work package. I'm sorry for this weird animation here. Task 1 is looking on this more technical hydraulic and treatment efficiency function and how this is affected by aging. Task 2 is on in situ testing of full-scale facilities in different countries. And then task 2-3 is developing checklists and guides for site assessment rehabilitation measures. And I want to go briefly through these tasks. So task 2.1 is the analysis of long-term data of full-scale facilities and how aging and long-term performance affects this hydraulic and treatment efficiency. And we have different types of field data, and we also collect new field data in this project, analyze infiltration, overflows, pollutant removal, and so on, and link that to plant characteristics. And the aim is that we then provide evidence-based maintenance planning information or guidelines. The second task is the assessment of pollutant accumulation, hydraulic conductivity, and plant microbial community in full-scale facilities over time. And there we do different types of sampling, for example, inlet, middle, outlet of the system, so at different points in the system, looking on accumulation of metals, PFAS, microplastics, pHs, depending on the type of facility. And we also have some data on that already from previous projects, which we can combine with new data so that we get a quite comprehensive data set. We do infiltration tests, and we also combine that with plant and microbial analysis in collaboration with the different partners. And the third task is then a outcome, which is like targeting stakeholders or practitioners as well. So we develop checklists and in simplified in situ tests for assessment of the sites. So how we can assess if a site still or if a facility still works after some years or over time without super comprehensive or expensive data collection and monitoring, and also to then identify rehabilitation needs and measures. And the tools here are, for example, this checklist for fast site assessment, development of a simplified infiltration test, looking at plant health indicators, and developing rehabilitation concepts. So this work package delivers evidence on the functionality of aging, nature-based solution, understanding of pollutant pathways, and then tools for example, municipalities, water managers, operators, and industry for better maintenance planning and monitoring. And we have now two presentations here in this project. The first is Gen Madre from University of Tartu, and then Swan Meda-Press from ENTPE Lyon. And that was this brief overview from my side. Thank you. And I hand over to these two here. And I don't know who starts now, but we'll see. Katharina, who's supposed to start?
I can start.
Yeah, I would go
Swan, just go ahead.
alphabetically. So
perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Swan Meder-Pra, and I am going to give you a brief overview of my thesis entitled Nature-Based Solution for Stormwater Biological Dynamics Related to Infiltration Function. This thesis is supervised by Katarina Tondera from Lena, Godeke Bleken at Luleå University of Technology in Sweden, and Anne-Christelle Bitbier from Lena too. So this thesis focuses on two main areas. The first will attempt to identify the factor that correlates with good infiltration, like the expected hydraulic conductivities for these systems. And the hypotheses here are that a system with a low human disturbance intervention, greater diversity and vegetation cover, low bacteria diversity, and high fungal diversity has a better infiltration rate. So for the methodology, for the first step in sampling a site is to identify the viability of the site, like vegetation, group, entrance, and draw up a map. The best way to do this is to fly over the site using a drone, as shown in the photo here. The second step involves sampling the vegetation. So the chosen method here is named intercept point sampling. Involves dividing at your site into a grid with a resolution of between 60 and 100 points. And at each point, you place the stick in the ground and count the number of contact points for each species of plant. Then leaves from individuals of each dominant species in order to study their functional characteristic is collected, such as leaf area, dry matter content, and their height. Results per soil is also collected for determine the microorganism community. After sampling the vegetation, samples for infiltrometry are taken regularly at different points across the surface or length of the site. Around each infiltrometry measurement, 3 subsamples are taken in the triangular pattern around the infiltrometry measurement. These subsamples are then mixed to produce a single composite sample and then divided for different analyses like PFAS analysis and biological analysis, and the rest for other physical and chemical analysis. Sorry. To study the infiltration function, a collaboration was established with the reversal team at INRAE in Lyon to jointly develop a prototype automated infiltrometer. It was named InFlow, which stands for Infiltration Characterization with Low-Cost Open Hardware Water Infiltrometer. And it was developed according to several sustainability principles, which you can find in the article cited just here. To obtain the hydraulic structural parameters of our soil, modeling using the best method developed by Laurent Lassabater will be used. And for a better understanding of the system, here are some photos of the current prototype in the field in Sweden. I will show you some site where I can able to sampling. The 6 sites that have already been sampled, like 1 large site in France and 5 in Sweden. Other sites are currently being selected for investigation next summer. In France, the Django site in Chassieux, next to Lyon, is a large old site, 8,000 square meters of infiltration area, 24 years of old, and with spontaneous vegetation, and does not undergo frequent intervention. This makes it a particularly relevant site for analyzing long-term function and vegetation succession. And in Sweden, I was able to sample 5 sites at 3 different stations. The first in Malmö is a chain of 28 infiltration systems with different conditions. They are located on either side of a road, and I was only able to sample 3 on this site. The second site located in Vagjo, 2 infiltration trenches next to a little road. And the third located in Sensval, in an infiltration basin next to a large highway bridge. 1 part covered in spontaneous vegetation and another part originally planted. And the second part of the thesis focus on the maintaining of expected vegetation and infiltration function over time in NBS for stormwater. The hypotheses here are infiltration function decrease over time with accumulation of fine sediment over time. The plant initially introduced don't persist and was replaced by exotic species, and vegetation cover is greater than at the construction of the sites. Thanks for your listening.
Hello, everyone. You can hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, the next one. Hello, I'm Ken Mandre, and by the background, I'm a landscape architect. I've been promoting nature-based stormwater solutions in Estonia for nearly 15 years. Over this time, I have been seeing both the great potential of these solutions and the barriers that limit their wider implementation. Encountering these challenges repeatedly is what eventually brought me back to university. And today, I will give you a brief overview over my PhD research. My supervisors are Associate Professor Margit Kõiv and Professor Danielle Dagenet. There is a growing need to understand how nature-based stormwater solutions perform over time. As these systems age, their vegetation changes, pollutants accumulate, and various stressors can reduce both their hydraulic efficiency and ecological performance. However, long-term studies, systematic evolution methods, and rehabilitation guidelines are largely lacking. This creates the significant gap between practical experience and widespread adoption. My PhD research aims to vary several different points. First of all, document the evolution of plant communities in vertical flow stormwater solutions over time. Secondly, assess the impact of factors like soil hydraulic properties and pollutant content on the plants. Thirdly, identify gaps in the design, my personal favorite. Design, implementation, and maintenance affecting plant community and overall performance. Then develop rehabilitation concepts for malfunctioning solutions and recommendations for avoiding these problems in new solutions. Many of these goals I will try to achieve in collaboration with other students from Canada. And to achieve the goals of my doctoral thesis, I will study plant succession patterns in Estonian nature-based stormwater solutions and assess how factors such as soil hydraulic performance and pollutant accumulation affect vegetation dynamics. I will compare field data collected in Estonia with Canadian reference data, integrating these results with a comprehensive literature review. In the process, I will identify key knowledge gaps and develop plant restoration concepts that support more resilient vegetation management and inform future planning and design of natural stormwater solutions. Over here, you can see monitored solutions, examples from Estonia and Canada that all share quite similar design principles. Each site demonstrates how nature-based stormwater solutions can integrate seamlessly into urban environment. They are visually appealing, functionally effective, and in my view, clearly enhance the quality and character of the surrounding public area, public space. Before adapting nature-based stormwater solutions, all of these areas seem quite bleak to me, and I dare to say not very inviting, attractive, or pedestrian friendly. The implementation of these systems has clearly enriched the environment, but it raises an important question. What happens if maintenance is done poorly or not at all? How does this affect the functionality of the solutions or impact the health of vegetation? And importantly, how might declining performance or appearance influence public perception and the willingness of developers or municipalities to invest in similar solutions in future? By now, I have a clear understanding what happened in the Estonian site after 1 year without maintenance. We know exactly which species were originally planted over there. And during field work, we divided the area into 13 3 times 3 meter quadrats to assess the conditions of the system and its plant community. Interestingly, we discovered that in addition to the 11 originally planted species, 30 new species had emerged during the 1 year period. In short, if you want long-lasting, high-performance NBSs, more biodiversity and more public support, we probably shouldn't rely on accidental plant succession and year-long maintenance holidays. But at least now we know what happens if we do. So thank you from me.
Thanks a lot for people presenting on work package 2. With that, I would like to lead over to work package 3, which will be presented by Danielle Dagenet.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, all good, and I see your presentation.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm going to present in collaboration with our PhD student Annick Zange. So my name is Danielle Dagenet. I'm a professor at the School of Urban Planning and Landscape Architecture, and also I'm a researcher at the Research Institute in Plant Biology. And as you can see, I'm involved in both the more plant biology aspect and also social science aspect of the project. So the work package 3 is public perception and resident participation. In the team, we have myself, Sylvain Paquette, who is a colleague. He's present today, professor at the school, and also the chair of the chair in landscape and environment, and our student Annick, who has just started, and she's still doing lots of courses, so the project is slowly starting. So why do we have this work package 3? Well, we want to increase the implementation of NBS solutions and increase biodiversity in cities, but this requires acceptance by the population. The preference of population for amenity aesthetics and maybe and other things can be a barrier to the implementation of additional NBS solutions if the actual systems who are in place are not well perceived. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is, could we find ways for citizens to develop a sense of stewardship towards NBS by first of all, assessing which relational values they have towards the systems at the moment, and also if they would be willing to be more involved in the maintenance of the system and thereby developing more relational values. So, as we know, and here is again a picture of the Papineau site. So to answer Audrey-Anne's question, the Papineau site was planted. This was totally planted. And the new species are not planted, they are spontaneous, it's spontaneous vegetation. So the plant communities change with time if maintenance is less frequent, let's say, which is what happened after a couple of years at Papineau. And some citizens are living alongside these systems. They have known them for a long time. So knowing that, we have two questions. First of all, is how do the citizens who are familiar with older bioretentions perceive them? So the underlying question is familiarity. Does it change something? Does it increase the perception, decrease it, or whatever? How does the general population of the city perceive these systems? So these are two questions. One thing that I have to explain is what we mean by perception, because perception is polysemic. It has many meanings. So what we mean by perception is both the information that we receive through our senses and how we make sense of it. And the how we make sense of it has many components. The main ones would be biological, cultural, personal. So these are the filters. And perception is linked to concepts such as aesthetic response, preference, and also behavior. So we have the chance of working on four countries. So we are asking ourselves, do people in different countries perceive the same systems differently? Because our survey will show systems from different countries. And I have to apologize to Godeke because I think my picture is not from Sundsvall, but maybe from Vaxjo. But anyways.
It's Stockholm, but doesn't matter.
Even worse. Okay, sorry. So one more question is about the values. What values do citizens attribute to these systems? You know that there are some great categories of values, like intrinsic values, if nature, for example, has a value by itself, instrumental values, nature has a value because it brings something to us, or relational value is this sense of stewardship that we can have towards nature, and the fact that taking care of nature gives us the sense of having living a better life and all that. So have the citizens developed also relational value towards the systems? The last question is involving resident in the maintenance of NBS might help to develop more relational values, and this could lead to better perception of older system, but is that even possible? So what are the barriers and levers to the involvement of citizens in the maintenance of bioretention in terms of governance, accessibility, technical or horticultural knowledge, and all that? So with that, I will transfer the conference to Annick for the methodology section.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Annick, the PhD student supervised by Daniel and Sylvain. For this research, we have three objectives to evaluate the perception by the research proposal. We have to evaluate, to identify the value that they hold toward the bioretention and evaluate the willingness and the feasibility to maintain them. For this, to achieve these three methodology or to achieve these three objectives, we have two methodology: qualitative method that include a semi-directed working interview and the documentary analysis. The second method is a quantitative method, which include online survey. The semi-direct working interview is for this research, the interview will be individual. We think that the interview will be individual and conduct along a route is a familiar and predictable. To obtain specific observation on the bioretention city location. We plan to conduct 10 and 20 semi-structure interview in each municipality. The importance of this method is that the working interview will be performed with residents before the online survey to determine the theme that should be addressed in the survey. We have to do an online survey, the next step. The online survey is for this survey, we have to conduct online survey to select the participant. It will be administered to the panel of the Quebec film in the city study. That means Montréal, Trois-Rivières, Lyon, Manlo, and Vinci. The online question including photo of each site under study will focus on resident perception, opinion, and personal impression of vegetation, and the bioretention, as well as the willingness to maintain the bioretention on each area. We expect to have this number of respondents in each country, as you can see. The second method is the documental analysis to have a feasibility of citizen-led bioretention maintenance. We have to analyze the governance of NBS in 5 cities and the feasibility of their maintenance by the city. We will done through the official document, research document, article, and we have also to interview with the professional of the NBS stormwater. Thank you.
Just to end, so the expected results are that we will understand better the perception of older NBS, the factors that influence that perception in terms of design, context, vegetation, culture, etc., and so forth. Ways to improve NBS design and maintenance considering the evolution of the system. And this, as you understood, will be made in close collaboration with the team, Gen and Margit. The values attributed by citizens to older NBS, especially relational values, will be investigated, and the possibility of using these values as levers to promote a positive perception of older system will be assessed. And finally, the assessment of the feasibility and desirability to involve citizens in the maintenance of bioretention. So thank you. Whoops.
Thank you, Danielle. And with that, we come to the last work package number 4, which will be presented by Margit.
Yes. Okay, so I hope you can see my slides. Let's see that. Okay. Can you hear me, Mel? All good?
All good.
Okay, thank you very much. So, one of the reasons why you are here, and we're really eager to know your opinions and know if you're eager also to participate with us, is the fact that in this project we have a special work package for stakeholder engagement, for knowledge transfer pathways, and for dissemination. I am associate professor in University of Tartu in environmental technology. Okay, somehow it doesn't go further. Okay, good. Little delay, sorry for that. So why this stakeholder engagement matters? I think you all know that the cities faced really urgent challenges like biodiversity loss. We don't know that we have a climate change, and we also have a lot of stormwater related problems, especially in urban environment. Nature-based solutions, they offer multifunctional and also a lot of cost-effective benefits. That's why we implement them. But this implementation varies dramatically across the world, and some regions are doing it better, are much more front and developed in that area. So the main objective, the main aim of this work package is to ensure that the knowledge, experience, and the best practice gained in this project moves efficiently between regions and stakeholder groups also. So we really want to engage the stakeholders at all relevant groups. For example, we're really eager to learn from and get the feedback from ministries, from several municipalities, not only the ones that we were talking about, from a lot of practitioners and also researchers and general public. We really want to identify the pathways for transferring knowledge and guidelines between countries. So we also are really eager to disseminate the project results in accessible and tailored formats. And that was something that was also mentioned in part of different work packages. And what is especially important is that we really hope that these kinds of initiatives and projects where we learn from each other are also helping countries with less experience to learn from long-term stormwater users, so NBS users. What we have in this work package is in general 3 tasks. First of all, we want to ensure diverse voices and needs are represented. That's why we are having a special task for stakeholder engagement. We want really that we want to deploy the knowledge that are gained from the other work packages. As you saw, it's really versatile and a lot of new things coming. And we also want to build connections between experienced and less experienced regions, like I said. So what we plan to do, what are the key actions? First of all, what we already did was stakeholder mapping, and that's why you all are here. And we want to also prioritize and really connect people with the things that they are best at. We want to develop national level collaboration, do several workshops and surveys. We want to have a collaboration with different municipalities for also identifying local practices and also the gaps like we told about. And doing all that, we are really using the help of also in this Biodiversa Plus call the special stakeholder engagement principles. Second part is the knowledge transfer pathways. So we really want to understand how each partnering country produces, updates, and shares NBS guidelines, especially stormwater-related guidelines. And we want to identify the preconditions, for example, legal, economic, planning that are influencing the uptake of these solutions. What we plan to do is review national planning systems, standards, and regulations, identify the best practices and missing elements, and build a model for like transferring these practices between different climates and governance systems. And as a last package in here, you can see we have a dissemination of the results. So what we really would like to do is to tailor recommendation for each target groups also, support the design, operation, and maintenance of NBSs across contexts. As you saw, we try to answer a lot of questions with this project, and we hope to also bring it upfront for you. And we want to ensure long-term accessibility and uptake of project results. What we will do, we will develop country and stakeholder-specific recommendation as much as possible and needed. We want to provide dissemination through workshops, university courses, and so also really important part to educate the students in these solutions to build up for the future, and also some public seminars. And produce openly accessible guidance materials. And what we also do is that in this project, we communicate via online platforms and networks and several academic channels. And we have developed also action plan. This is really like general summary of it, but you can see that We have already mapped the stakeholders. We have our engagement plan and set up communication channels. And now we are in this part of engagement through these kind of, like you are in this webinar, but also we plan to do several ask you to have some interviews and surveys to really know a little bit more about your practical experience, or what are the gaps, what are the problems, what you're glad about with these systems, and what are the problems. So to identify these pathways in each country, find out the best practices, and also, as I said, disseminate and evaluate also what we have gained. So what are the expected outcomes? We really want to have a stronger cross-country cooperation in NBS implementation. We want to have improved municipal capacity to design and maintain stormwater NBSs, especially like in Estonia, that we would really promote and show that, yes, the experience of others are showing us that when you're doing it the correct way, everything works and does it really great. We want to have a better and more just urban biodiversity and for sure climate resilience, and to have this evidence-based guidance also for policymakers, we hope. So with the knowledge that we create in BioReStorms, we hope that that turns into real world impact. And by working closely with stakeholders, we are building the foundation for more resilient, biodiverse and climate adapted cities. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for your attention.